Mr. Andrew had worked as a night janitor in our office for 19 years. He was quiet, humble, and always humming softly as he swept the halls like it was holy work. Everyone knew him, but few really noticed him. That changed one morning when everything went wrong. Without warning, the HR manager came into the office with a security guard. In front of everyone, she said, "Andrew, pack up your things." People froze, confused. Andrew looked up, surprised, still holding his broom. "Ma'am," he whispered. The manager's voice was cold. "You've been accused of stealing a Rolex from one of the executives' desks. We can't have thieves here." The office went silent. No investigation, no proof, no camera footage, just a missing watch and a quiet man who suddenly became the easiest person to blame. What broke me most was that he didn't even defend himself. He didn't raise his voice, didn't protest, didn't shout about his innocence. He just lowered his head and whispered, "I understand." Then they handed him a black trash bag for his things, and the guard escorted him out like a criminal. That night, I walked past the building and saw him outside, sitting on the curb in the rain, still holding his broom. His uniform was wet, his face tired. He looked like a man who had lost everything. People said later, if he was innocent, he would have spoken up. But I wasn't so sure. What most of them didn't know was that Mr. Andrew once showed me a kindness I never forgot. Years ago, my mother came to visit me at work. On her way in, the heel of her shoe broke. She was embarrassed, trying to hide in a corner of the lobby, not wanting to walk in front of people. By the time I got downstairs to help her, I found her sitting quietly, while Mr. Andrew knelt before her. He had taken out an old rag and polish from his cart and was gently cleaning her shoes. He looked at her and said softly, "Ma'am, don't you ever feel small?" Then he smiled, stood up, and walked away, still humming. He never told anyone about it. He never even mentioned it to me again. I told myself that day, if I ever get the chance, I'll pay that man back. 2 years later, I had already left that company and started my own. It grew steadily, and one morning we were conducting interviews for the position of head of operations at a hotel conference room. The room was filled with candidates in suits, resumes in hand, nervous and hopeful. I sat at the front reviewing files. Then, as I looked up, I saw him, not as a candidate, but as a cleaner, sweeping the hallway of the hotel with the same broom. Older now, moving a little slower, but humming the same soft tune. My heart caught in my chest. I excused myself, walked out into the hallway, and approached him. "Mr. Andrew?" I asked gently. He looked up, startled. At first, he didn't recognize me. Then I told him who I was, reminded him about the day with my mother's shoes. His eyes lit up slightly and he chuckled, shaking his head. "Ah, that lady. Yes, I remember now." I couldn't hold back. "Why didn't you defend yourself back then? Why let them destroy your name?" He sighed, leaning on his broom. His voice was quiet, almost breaking. "Because the man who actually stole that watch, he had 2 kids at home. If they fired him, he'd never get another job, and those children would suffer. I figured I could survive losing a job, but he couldn't survive losing his family. I don't support stealing, but I know what it feels like to go home to hungry children." So I kept silent. I did my part of kindness. I stood frozen, shocked. This man had carried the weight of another's crime. He had sacrificed his own dignity, his own livelihood, to protect someone who would never thank him. Loyalty. even to the wrongdoer at the cost of everything he had. That day, I made a decision. I told him the truth. Mr. Andrew, I own this company now, and I'm not offering you a cleaning job. He looked at me, confused. I'm offering you the position of head of operations. Not because of your resume, but because character is worth more than credentials. When he stepped into the boardroom later, not with a broom but in a suit, people were stunned. The same man who had once swept our floors now sat at the table where decisions were made. His name signed paychecks. His quiet presence carried authority. Yet he remained the same. Still humble, still humming softly as he walked the halls. The world may overlook people like Mr. Andrew, but kindness never dies. Loyalty remembers loyalty. And sometimes the ones who seem the smallest turn out to be the greatest among us. Please drop a heart if you believe character is greater than credentials.